Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Breakfast Daily, and right now it's time for us to get into our news review segment. Let us check out some of the headlines making waves as we draw closer to the general elections. So in the studio with me, I have Richard Mensah, who's the head of programs at production at City FM, and Larry Dogbe, managing editor at the Herald newspaper. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Chris.
Welcome. Ojafo.
How do you call him?
Ojafo.
Ojafo.
I nearly said that, so that's why I, skipped a bit.
Oh, you know we attended GIJ together.
Really?
Yeah. So while he was reading degree, I did diploma.
Right.
Yes. And back on campus, we used to call him King Yellow.
Hey. So now we're going to add that name to the books now.
Yeah, you have to. So sometimes we call him Yellow Man.
Right.
Yeah. He had a lot of fans back then.
Charlie.
And he still has.
a lot, especially from us, especially from our department.
Yeah.
Yes, because he's our boss, so especially from our department.
Yeah. He doesn't laugh much, but when you get him laughing,
it's a good thing.
That means you start some, a certain level of it.
Like today. All right, so let's get straight into it. Yesterday we also looked at this particular topic that we are going to be talking about, about 40 people being arrested, or over 40 people being arrested yesterday. I mean, with a 3-day protest that went on by the Democracy Hub. And I want to know your thoughts on that. Do you think the police are actually doing the right job? We had this conversation yesterday, but per your view, do you think the police are actually doing the right job, or is a clampdown on people's civil rights to protest?
Well, thank you, and good morning to our viewers.
Good morning.
First of all, demonstration is a civic right, okay, and anybody who is able to exercise that right must do so responsibly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the police are there to maintain law and order as well. And so, if out of, the discussions, areas have been earmarked that, listen, go according to this, arrangement, and you refuse to go by that, the police are mandated to ensure that, you comply with that.
Right.
And if you fail to do that, they are also mandated to, sort of put you before the court, an independent body, for that body to determine whether or not what you did was unlawful. Okay, and then if there is any punishment, you are punished for it. Okay. Now, from the discussion so far, the Democracy Hub agreed with this, with the police, that they were to do A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
But I think that they went beyond that. I'm sure the feeling is that, you can't hit the news if you do the right thing.
Right.
So people want to, be...
So you think it's a bit of clout?
Well, from what I saw, I thought that, there was no need to go and pull the key to the truck.
Right.
You get it? No matter what the police have done, you don't have to do that. Throw the key away. You don't have to do that.
Make them chase you a bit.
Yeah, running away with it, with cameras on you and so on. A barricade that had been mounted, you were pushing it down and all that. For me, I felt that was far-fetched.
Yeah.
Okay. The police issued a statement subsequently saying that they were looking for him.
Yeah, Oliver Burka.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he replied that, listen, there's no manhunt, and that the police already knew where he is or he was.
So
and
let's meet.
Let's meet. Show me where to. Yeah, it's it's nice for the democracy.
Well, he's actually been arrested, though.
Yeah. No, so then the story is that he actually presented himself
to the police,
and then he was picked up from there on. Well, it's an arrest, though.
Yeah.
Yes. So back and forth, 45 or 44 people have been arrested.
Yeah, 44 now.
Exactly. The law mandates that they are put before court within a certain time for the courts then to grant bail. Now, if you had lawyers going around looking for these people, and then the police are saying that, listen, we don't know where they are, for me, that also amounts to another lawlessness. Okay, that also amounts to another lawlessness, because I mean, you as the police, no matter what these guys have done, you are still mandated to ensure their safety. You are still mandated by their rights. You should tell them, you should tell the people, their relatives, their lawyers and others, where they are.
Right.
You get it? You don't have to get to a point where lawyers will be filing, habeas corpus, for you to produce these people in court. You get what I'm saying? Show the lawyers where these people, where they are. If they had gone, beyond the laws or beyond whatever it is that you had agreed on, you don't use another lawlessness to do this.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel that, we don't have to get here where, lawyers will be moving from station to station.
Looking for
exactly. What if they get missing? What if? Because in the process, somebody could just, do something to these people. Okay? The political situation is quite tensed. We don't have to get to that point.
Right.
Where lawyers will be looking for these people and we can't find them. It's not good enough.
Right.
It's not good for our democracy. It's not good for, internationally, no.
Does not sound right.
Exactly. Every attention is on Ghana. We are approaching election. How many months to an election? A major one, a critical one, very crucial. So you don't have to get to a point where the police of all people, of all institutions, is telling the lawyers that, listen, we don't know where to go here.
Go here, go there.
Yeah, go there. What situation is that? It doesn't speak well of us. And I think the IGP is better, he's good at handling some of these things. He's a PR kind of person. And so some of these things, I don't think he should step in and then get his officers to do the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Richard, talking about the lawlessness from the part of the police with them, withholding information, especially to lawyers, there's also some allegations, especially, I found out this last night. I was talking to some of my friends on Facebook that we actually have a common friend that has been arrested.
Okay.
So I was like, where is she? How is she? What's going on? There has been allegations that, first of all, they will not allow them call their lawyers. And they will not allow them eat or drink water. I don't know how true that is. So do you think the police is crossing the line if this issue is true? And also, what are your general thoughts with the whole arrest?
Well, I think, first of all, you look at the whole demonstration that the people embarked on. One thing that I would always say is that you must exercise your rights responsibly. Once you cross the line between responsibility, then it becomes a problem. Like Larry said, the police were there, or the police are there for the safety of all, including motorists on the day. I think this whole thing turned a little bit haywire because of the narratives surrounding the whole demonstration. Now, first of all, I will say that, look, our democracy has grown to the extent that most of the time, or some of the time, the police should stop these communist inferior tactics and all. You see, the people had indicated they wanted to use a particular route. The police met with them. But I must commend the police also. In terms of communication surrounding this very particular demonstration, they've been up to it. At every point in time, they were informed, because they know that when you leave the narrative to some of these guys, they will just do their own thing.
They'll do their thing.
Now, when the police decided that they needed to use a different route for their demonstration, they resisted. And so then the police goes to court without notifying them.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is where I don't agree. At least bring them on notice. Go and argue your case, because you had a strong case for trying to say that we are not going to allow you to have this thing 3 days at the same place. That is okay. But they went on notice. Then the people also decided deliberately that they were going to be disruptive. So on the first day, they were actually disruptive. So there was traffic all over town, especially when you are heading towards that place. And that is why the police were forced to now have to maintain law and order. Yes, if police arrest you and you are not being made to see your lawyers, you are not being made to talk to anybody, yes, they are crossing the line. And like Larry said, I think the police should move away from this very particular tactics. However, you see, they are the ones within the security space. So sometimes the fact that they are not telling people where you are can be argued that they were also protecting you. You see? and that is why it becomes funny.
Yeah.
They can say that they were protecting you, and that is why they didn't want the people to know
where
you are, because what, when they get to know that you are here, what is the probability? There's the probability that the people will gather there and there will be more arrests because they will be very disruptive. Look, Thursday I saw a video of some of them angrily threatening a driver who just bumped into the thing. He wanted, I think he was carrying some blocks or something, so obviously he was going to a construction center.
Do his work
they asked him to, and they were shouting on this man.
Yeah,
You see?
the protesters.
Yes. They wanted to block the road and said no car would use. But there were some cars which had already entered into the fray. They wanted all of them turn out. And before turning around, the kind of aggression with which they were exercising that right, it was not good for me. That said, they've exercised their rights. The police thinks that some of them have gone beyond the line and therefore they've been arrested. I think the next thing to do is to ensure that they take them to court.
Right.
But this aspect of you won't allow.
Did they destroy anything?
The police says that some of the charges
election
include
material,
putting that's the barriers, pushing the barriers down and then taking off the key. But I didn't see any distraction. So far, I've not seen.
Did they attack anybody?
Well, they said their officers were attacked. Well, I've seen a video where one of the guys was actually pushing towards the route police. Yes, and then it was the police were using the protective gear.
But they did not punch anybody.
No, they didn't punch anybody.
I'm not sure, but the kind of aggression, the police considers it as an attack on their officers.
And there was there was also a video of them actually destroying the NPP election materials,
okay.
like the elephant and that.
Yeah, for me, that is I mean, destruction of property.
Yeah.
But I think there's a law, I mean, that prohibits destruction of electoral, materials. However, when you have the police, who are supposed to maintain law and order, now being the complainant in the situation, they
are using that as justification for the arrest.
Yeah.
So they have to complain because then there will be no justification for the
why
arrest.
You arrested them.
But what I'm saying is that, look, you arrested the people. Some of them. I watched some of the arrests, and the people were just standing somewhere, and then the route police just moved and then got them. Well, they said that on the second day, I think that was the second day. The second day, they asked them not to come around. So anybody seen standing around there, then you are a target for the police. But then you ask yourself, once you've gone through the process, and for this particular group that I'm speaking about, I didn't see any resistance.
Yeah.
So once there was no resistance, you took them into custody. I think the era where we try to do this, I'll show them something small, we should move away.
We should go past it.
You see, our police oftentimes have become very partisan in their approach to a lot of things.
Do you think it's about partisanship
or
it's about the uniform?
No, I'm coming. They become very partisan in their approach to a lot of things. Now, some of them even equate themselves to the executive. Well, they are supposed to be part of it anyway. However, if it is his civil right to say that he's going to demonstrate or protest, even if it's for a year,
right?
He is allowed to do that. It is up to you, the police or the law enforcement agency, to make sure that that person's right is protected all through. If he has the stamina to go and stand there.
Well, that is it. But you see, it is
you can't tell him that
you can also not exercise your right by affecting mine as well.
No, I'm coming.
Or
for instance,
the spaces of
the example I recounted, these are people who were using the street.
Yeah.
Now you say you want to protest.
Yeah.
And you are angry, aggressively addressing such people who, for all you know, they don't even know that this
Sure.
is
There's a
what is
process.
happening.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
So you do your protest. Why people go on hunger strike?
Yes.
When you go on hunger strike, do you tell everybody not to eat?
No.
So
Yeah.
go on your hunger strike, but don't go because you are on hunger strike. When you see me with my food, you come and take it and
Yeah.
say.
And
"Let
also
me
because
give."
there was
now you see
there's a hospital around that area.
Yeah.
one
I
thing
agree.
about this whole thing that I thought also was very unfortunate, especially the narratives around it, was when the police started. I thought the police started with the narrative. Oh, these people, they didn't say that they were going to demonstrate against Galamsey.
Galamsey.
And I'm asking myself, the people had written in July, they said they were going to demonstrate, and they cited what they were going to demonstrate
yeah.
against. Currently, what is the pressing issue now we are
Galamsey.
facing?
The Galamsey.
Yes. So if they add it to their in fact, and that they made it a headline. Initially, this demonstration was about the hardships in the country
accountability
and
of the
accountability.
Yeah.
But then when they realized that in the times that we are in, the accountability must be demanded from the people who are pretending over the destruction of our waterways and all that. So they added to it. Why? So let them go ahead. But then I'm saying that your rights must be activated responsibly. In any case, it is your right, your civic right to do that. So you went through the process, you informed the police too went through their process, and then they did what they know to do best. They went behind you, went to court, secured an injunction of a sort, and then they went through that process.
Yeah.
What I don't agree with the police about is the fact that you get people into custody and people would have to be looking around all over the place for them. I don't think it's right.
That is where I'm coming. That you see, oftentimes the police administration have been partisan. Okay? They have been partisan in most cases. You don't go and lock up an individual and his lawyer comes to you to say that where is, my client? And you tell him that go to Kandeshi police station. And he goes there and says, oh, listen, the guy wasn't brought here. But try Kolebu. And he drives to Kolebu. Oh, he's not there. Oh, go to Nungwa, we heard. And then you travel all the way to Nungwa, and he's not there. So, oh, try Pong. Or Katamanso Dodowa. And it's, it keep going.
It keeps going on and on.
Well,
You get it?
Yeah, it's as much as it's not right to, they can
Yes,
also have justification for it. Look, is it not true that by me, the one you met in Nungwa, didn't know that? So I'm also directing you to go and look
No, but that is what I'm coming to. Where I'm saying that the police administration, it's a law enforcement agency. And your enforcement of the law is not that I'm just about attacking you and that he is there to prevent it. But beyond the prevention, he's also supposed to be, to ensure that my right is protected. You
Right.
get it? So my lawyer shouldn't come looking for me, and you are tossing my lawyer all around.
Well, that
You
I
get it?
agree.
Listen, some of these guys could have some medical conditions.
Yes. True.
Do you get it? And that by keeping them there, the fear alone, the fact that you are denying them water, let's say,
food,
water and food, or even medication, could trigger a lot of things. Okay? Then you as a law enforcement guy, you are being lawless. You are fighting lawlessness with another lawlessness. That is where we are going. Which shouldn't be the case. Again, I'm saying that if the protesters wanted to demonstrate for 50 years,
They're allowed to.
they are allowed to.
Just protect them.
So long as they don't go, destroying property, threatening lives and other things. Allow them to do that. And even if he has to take the IGP to come and ensure that, listen, your right is protected as a protester, he should be there. Because he's paid by you, by us, to ensure that.
All right, so let's go back to the demands of the Democracy Hub protesters.
Yeah.
Earlier on, it was about accountability and, like Richard said, they realized, okay, this is the issue. Illegal mining is the issue at hand now. So why not amplify that as the main problem? But do you think this is actually significant in shaping the future political discourse?
Let's go back to that point about they wanted to demonstrate on the economic situation, and then ended up demonstrating on Galamsey.
Yeah.
Listen, Galamsey argument, I mean, your media house has championed this thing many times. Doesn't it involve economics?
Right, it does.
Don't we see the corruption in there? Where licenses are granted to people to just go and do prospecting, and then they end up doing proper mining. Okay? That is corruption. Where everybody is calling on the president. President, say something. And he's sealed his mouth. People's lives are being threatened. That is human rights.
Right. So it's still all under the accountability.
A while ago, I think yesterday, I watched on the View, is it Viewpoint, Bernard's
Point of view.
Point of
Point
view, where the gentleman comes and the professor comes and says that, listen, we don't appreciate what is going on.
Yeah.
Water bodies are being polluted. Plants are going to absorb some of these chemicals. We are going to eat them.
Yeah.
Fish and everything. It's economy. People's lives revolve around water. I've watched videos where, I think on Cobra or somewhere.
Yeah, he says, in fact, in that interview yesterday, he says that a place like Pra, it will take some, I think, 10 years or so
Exactly.
to be able to clear it the way we see
We
it now.
see- yeah.
And he says if that place is even locked down, a minimum of 3 years for it to come back to some
To a point
level
where
of normalcy.
people think that, a certain water body is being polluted somewhere in Ashanti region. But the color changes in the sea.
Yes.
And then they tell you that we had a particular fish in this area.
Now
I
you
mean,
can't.
in recent times, we don't have that particular fish anymore. That, some types of fish come to lay their eggs somewhere. They no longer come there.
They've gone extinct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that a certain, the water gets to a certain bank. But as of now, it gets into the middle of the town. And that the whole place is gotten muddy. People who lived in a certain island have relocated from that island because the water there is polluted. They don't get water anymore too. And the president is not talking. And you think that this isn't going to influence the election? And so you think that people like that, I mean, as in the democracy have people, they are not justified in matching or changing their, the points that they wanted to demonstrate on.
Their demands.
Their demands. They said they voted for you to act. This, you promised that. Listen, I mean, I don't know whether you were here, but I mean, President Akufo-Addo, it took him how many, elections for him to eventually win.
True. Yes.
And at the point in time, he started, screaming, "Try me and see, Somehwe, try me and see, Somehwe, try me and see," and he kept that. And so Ghanaians decided to vote for you. And they are expecting that, listen, be the president that people voted for. The change that you promised. People can't drink water anymore. Their economic activities are destroyed.
Yeah.
Fishermen can't go to fish. They can't go for fishing anymore. Women who smoke fish and sell in the market, now they can't get a particular fish to sell. And the president is not talking. When he allegedly spoke, he said he created a interministerial committee. And the president is not talking. He's not even telling us that, listen, this is the roles that I've given to these my ministers. And they are supposed to do A, B, C, D. They even said that the military was being deployed to, this Galamsey site. Have you seen any military person anywhere? What we heard, again, on your network, was that they went to Assume, isn't that?
Assume, yeah.
Yes, and they were rather molesting or tormenting the people. Is that not the video we are watching? And the president is not talking. Maybe you guys, you need to start playing that video where he said, "I have put my presidency on the line." You need to be playing it.
We are just some few days to the Labour's ultimatum. So they are saying that by close of September, if they hear nothing, if they don't hear anything from the government, they are likely to take a series of actions.
You believe in that? They issued another statement where they're trying to tone down, because I think they met the interministerial committee and then at Alisa Hotel.
It was still in there. That yes, when they met the interministerial committee, they said they were going through the process, but they said that is not what they want. They want action. and that the temporary ban should be placed at places that are affected, and then they can then take the conversation forward. But that is like you're saying, these people took advantage of the situation, and I don't think even using the word advantage, they were just doing the thing that needed to be done. They were just doing the thing that
it's
needed
a current
to be done.
affair.
You see, if you've not been to these places, the affected places, you take this whole fight for granted. I'm telling you, for some of us who know these places personally, when you see the color of the river, when you see the devastation happening, you are just saddened by it, and that is why people, especially those who know the places, are speaking.
Yeah.
Are speaking. And like you said, yes, it involves economy and all that, but really, at whose expense? At the expense of everybody, including even those involved. Including those involved. And therefore, for the affected areas, yes, let's do something about it now. Because if we don't, by the time we wake up to the realities, we would have all been affected one way or the other. And we would spend, you see, it's a matter of health infrastructure as well, and health. We are going to create a problem that we are going to use more money to deal with. And the government would have to find that. We'll use more money to deal with, because by the time we are ending this by this our lackadaisical attitude, we would have created a health problem that would be lasting, to be generational. This lead and things that they use, when it infuses into your system, there is problem.
Yeah.
Getting it out becomes a big problem.
Yeah.
And therefore, well, like I said, Labour has issued their statement. Almost every other person is on this stop galamsey now. And I think something needs to happen so that we are able to set ourselves on the right path again. But where we are going now, it's not good.
Right.
See, can I make this point? So oftentimes the claim had been that, the MPP lost seats around the Galamsey areas. Okay.
Because he tried to fight it.
Yeah, but see, the counter argument to that could also mean that the people who voted against the MPP or the MP actually wanted the Galamsey to be stopped. That could be the counter argument.
Yeah, from another angle.
From another angle, because I'm not sure the people involved in the Galamsey are so huge that their numbers really was watching the election.
Well, for the places that they were, that's why you see, when you go back to 2020 and all that, the two major political parties took advantage of it. So you had former President Mahama going around saying that, you know something, when I come, all those of you who have been arrested, I'm going to give you amnesty. And I'm doing that, and then the explanation was that the big boys are around, so we'll rather go and pick the big boys
than the ones being employed.
So then what do? This encourages the small boys who are into it. And therefore, the videos have appeared where some known NDC people were promising, some of them, they were in the Galamsey pit, promising them. What I want to say is that these two political parties, they are not being truthful with this very particular issue. And now it has to take us, and I mean CSOs, Labour, everybody, let's stand up. The way Labour stood up when this whole Snit hotel sale came up, they should do the same thing so that something is done. Because you see, Labour, you'll be there and then be dilly-dallying with this. Guess what? When the effects start manifesting, it will affect even the government's power to even increase your wages and salaries, because at a point in time we'd have to be using all this to buy medicine and all. A typical example is Ghana Water. When the problem was happening at Chebi, and then they came out with a statement. They said now they use, so if they use only 1 gallon of treatment medicine for the water, now they have to use like 10, and all this is money.
Yes.
And sometimes they have to go through a lot of process before they get to just some clean water to drink.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we would continue this conversation. Don't go nowhere.